I'm not concerned about Josh, but it's not a great look. He's looked horrendous for pretty much 2 games now, at least the second half against the Packers. And then he looked pretty damn bad against the Jets. It's definitely concerning. I mean, I don't think either of those teams have amazing defenses. I think the Jets have a good defense. I don't think they have a great defense. And I think they made Josh look super confused. I think they made him look nervous. I think they made him look afraid. And it showed. He was rushing the ball in terms of throwing it too quickly sometimes too late. He was inaccurate, obviously horrendous decision making. He only had 2 picks, but he could have easily had 3 or 4. So some big concerns there for me. I mean, another one here, Gabe Davis. He has not been the guy that we saw last season. And some people might get pissed off for me saying that, but he really hasn't looked good this year. I mean, he's made some big plays. He's had some big touchdowns, but he's actually had now multiple games with drop balls. And I don't know the stats on this. I don't have it in front of me, but he was one of the best receivers in terms of drop balls last year. And this year, he's had at least a drop every game from what I can remember. And like plays that he should not be dropping the ball. Things where it's just like he's not focused, he's not in the game, and maybe part of that is he's not being involved enough. I don't think he's getting enough targets. I don't know. He only had 2 or 3 targets in this game. That to me is a problem also. Again, it might come down to scheme. It might come down to strategy. Maybe we're sending him too deep, and when Josh is rushed, he's not able to make those deep passes to Gabe Davis. That could be the case. I think there's some adjustments that need to be made. I think he should be getting involved earlier on in the game, just like we've talked about with Diggs in the past, where there were times where he didn't get involved early enough and it didn't end up being a great game for him. I think it could be the same scenario with Davis. I think we need to really be getting him involved a little earlier. And if it means a couple screen plays to him, like so be it. Get him involved, get him into the game, because having him only touch the ball after like a quarter or two, to me, that's not really what you want from your second receiver who you claim could become a top tier receiver. And then the final stock down, I mean, it's kind of 2 combined here. Johnson and Hamlin, I mean, these guys they're not pro. Our safeties, I know we brought in Dean Marlowe. I don't believe he played. I mean, he's got to learn a little bit. Maybe he'll come in next week. But Hamlin and Johnson, to me, are just not NFL safeties. There's nothing about these guys that screams they're ready to play at all. Bad instincts, bad tackling, bad decision making. They don't help enough on the run game, which we got torched. And in some, like third down type situations, they just don't seem to have the instincts to pick up on plays. And even if they're kind of in the right place at the right time, they're a little bit skittish when it comes to actually making the tackle. And sometimes Tremaine Edmonds falls into this where he watches the guy and lets the guy gain a couple yards and then tackles him. And it's more of a conservative thing, like don't get beat, don't let a guy get 20 yards after. But if you're going to give them the 3 yards when it's 3rd and 3, it doesn't really matter because you've already given them the first down that you shouldn't have in the first place. So those are my, concerns for me in terms of stock down. Kev, I think you got the list in front of you as well, the stock ups. You want to go through those?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention one more stock down. To me, Ken Dorsey. The last 6 quarters of football, to not be able to figure out a scheme to get guys open, because to me it seems like we're there, like you said, a little more short game, where we used to use Beasley to get open on these quick plays to sort of open things up, and that just wasn't there yesterday. We didn't see enough scheming to get guys open. I think the offense was way too vanilla. We didn't see screenplays. We didn't see any trickery. We didn't see anything at all, really. I just didn't see enough. I didn't see enough planning for a Jets defense that actually is quite good. So I think we walked into that game a little bit too overconfident. and with a lack of preparation,